Still no tweets. What's going on? We still don't have any tweets.
Come on, guys.
No one. I think we have 3 followers on Twitter right now. You guys are.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I'm not.
Well,
mad,
I mean, is Twitter a dead site? I mean, I'll accept Instagram comments with, hashtag like Camp Strange intro maybe.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think we're tweeting
CSI's not taken. We can take that Camp Strange intro CSI. That's golden.
Yeah.
No one's using that.
CSI.
CSI. That's
Grisham.
It's free game.
Grisham loves bugs.
Did we talk about CSI in the first episode?
I don't think so.
I think we did.
Oh, that's weird then.
Or maybe it was the fake first episode that we didn't
Yeah, probably.
publish. Yeah.
When am I not talking about CSI? I missed that show.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Anyway, but like what we were talking about is that still nobody has tweeted us, but I mean, I guess we don't deserve Twitter followers yet, so that's understandable.
Yeah,
but,
we're not there yet.
So follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. I think we got Facebook. We got all the big social medias, all the top tier ones.
Anything you can ask for. We've got
MySpace,
it.
Friendster. We got all of them.
Got an AIM.
We got a can.
Chat messenger.
We got 2 cans with the string attached to them.
We got a live feed from my living room you can sign up for.
But so add us on all there on Instagram. I think that's the most active one. So add us on Instagram at Camp Strange Podcast, and we post the pictures that we talk about on the show. We post new episode updates and merch availability. Not that we have it yet, but it's coming and should be fun.
Yeah, and we'll respond to any and all comments. Really.
Yeah,
We've got nothing going on.
So much time already. No, we have a lot of time.
A lot of time.
And I think we wanted to also say thank you to everybody who reached out and said they liked the podcast or gave us some criticism and how to get better, because I mean that's what it's all about. Just trying to improve on the art. This is art, right?
This is art. I mean, yeah, and it was our first episode, and this is our second episode, so hopefully there will be improvements. And if not, hang tight, because they'll come around.
They're coming around the mountain.
We're figuring out. We are recording from a living room, and so no professional studio or anything like that. I edit the stuff myself, and we spend like 15 minutes trying to set up the equipment that we pretend like we know what's going on. But
we appreciate everybody that reaches out. So,
yeah.
And Kyle Spomberg. There, I said your name. He got mad that I didn't say his name. No shout out. I said your name. Are you happy? I hope you're happy. There.
Yeah, I got plenty of angry no shout outs, but I'm not going to drag that into here.
There. Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and say this is your camp counselor, David Stokes here.
Oh, I didn't even tell him who I am.
No one knows who you are.
This is Alex Tobin. I am your other camp counselor. Welcome to Camp Strange. That was a little late on that intro, but we're happy to have you here, and we're going to be telling you some strange stories by the fire, like we always do that one time before.
Yeah, cozy up like we always do that one time before.
So, you wanted to say something before we jumped into our stories, right?
Oh, I did. So I actually had an update from my story last week when I spoke about the ghost on the Fox Hollow playground named Opal, and my brother sent me a text, and he was saying like, dude, I saw that ghost once, and it was something, once I saw that text, I was like, holy shit, he did, because I remember him telling me this when I was really young, but over the years I forgot about it. But so I guess
he was young at the time.
Yeah, I believe my brother was in fourth or fifth grade at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was at like a birthday party that was at the playground. And I think they were
ghetto birthday party. What's up?
Whoa, come on.
I'm just saying. I mean,
come on, man.
It's at a playground at a school.
And so it was getting pretty dark, and I think they were playing kickball, football, something like that.
Another free thing.
Yeah. And you're the worst. And so from the woods, they saw a glowing figure walking towards them. And my brother said half of the guys just booked it, ran for the hills. And some other guys stayed back, and they tried to, like, see what it was. And they also, like, eventually were just like, nope, getting out of here. And
so half those kids are dead. I thought you were gonna be
No,
like,
I mean they're still alive.
That's really creepy though.
Yeah,
That's,
but so I remember as a little kid, my brother telling me that, and my mom being like, "That didn't happen. Like, don't listen to your brother. He's trying to scare you." And like my brother's still holding strong to it.
there's a difference between one fourth grader telling you I saw a glowing thing and 11 fourth graders telling you we saw something.
Yeah,
So I mean that's pretty creepy.
that's a possibility.
Yeah, I never rule it out.
Yeah, and
Kids see the darndest things, don't they say that?
yeah, I think they see the darndest things.
Yeah, they say cats, animals,
Cats.
children, babies.
Cats, yeah.
They're the most innocent, most pure, I guess, and they could see these spirits. They're
Not so jaded.
Yeah, they're on a different wavelength, I think.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, though. I like
Yeah.
that. I always like a nice a follow up on a ghost.
Yeah,
I wonder if she's still there.
she could be.
If you go back to Eugene soon, take a stop by the playground.
I'm actually going back in 3 days.
Will you actually? Is that playground near your house?
It's not that far from my house.
Well, if you find yourself near the playground,
I can go over and just snap a quick pic.
no, I just mean like actually try to like do a connection. Say like Opal.
It's a quick trip. I don't, I'll try.
What's up, Opal?
I'll see if I can get over there at night. Maybe I'll play the podcast with a few candles and some goat's blood or something.
do it. I got a lot of goat's blood.
I
if
know
need
you
some.
do.
I have so much.
Well, you think I can fly with it? I'd like to get a bunch of little traveling.
You put it in
ounces.
film containers and they don't
Oh, okay.
check because
Yeah.
everybody carries film containers still.
Yeah, you don't want to put it in tinfoil.
Leaks. But okay, we'll jump into the jump into the stories now.
Yeah, let's get in here.
So I guess I'll lead once again, and my story is of a young girl by the name of Anneliese Michel and her exorcism. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
There's only so many movies that start with the exorcism of.
Well, I wasn't asking you if you've seen the Emily Rose of the Exorcism trilogy.
There's a trilogy.
No, there's not a trilogy.
Jesus.
There's The Exorcist and The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and probably 100 more C or B level movies called The Exorcism of Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
Where she got exorcised
Rest
by
in peace,
an
Coco.
But yeah, so this is The Exorcism of Emily Rose is actually based off of Anneliese Michel, and let's get into it.
Okay.
In 1952, a girl by the name of Anna Elizabeth Michel was born in Bavaria, Germany, to her parents Joseph and Anna. So she's just a young little German girl.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Her parents are both really, really deeply devout Roman Catholics, which is always a really good premise and setup for just horrible paranormal.
Weird shit.
Yeah, it's just, stuff's going to go down if somebody's so deeply devout. But she had 3 other sisters, and they lived completely normal childhoods. They played with other children, socialized, they learned in school, and maybe they didn't learn in school. I don't know.
I was going to say, is that what you do in school?
I wasn't there. And but they also attended mass twice a week at their local church. And Anna herself was the most religious out of her 3 sisters. She actually eventually her real name is Anna, but she eventually took on the nickname Anneliese, which translates to all of God's bounty. So just like go head first, lean into it. That's what I say.
They're really stacking the odds against her.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think she stacked the odds against herself too. She's like, "Yo, demons, what's up? I'm the spokesperson.
Yeah,
come after me." So Annaliese's mother, also named Anna, maybe that's why they gave her that nickname too.
Yeah, it can get confusing.
But she recalls Annaliese's early life, stating she liked life, she sang willfully, she was an intelligent girl, teachers and professors always complimented her. Overall, it seemed that she conducted herself in a generally positive manner. That was until the age of 16.
It's always the age 16 once they get the keys to the car.
They say the terrible twos are the worst, but I say
16.
The
I know my 16-year-old daughter is
the sassy 16s.
Yeah, the sassy 16s.
You know when they get them devils in them?
I'm sorry?
When they get them devils in them?
Oh, you
know
talking about when they get them devils in them?
Them devils in them?
Yeah.
But one day while attending school, she suddenly blacked out and began walking around dazed. Anneliese did not remember the event, but her friends and family said she was in a trance-like state. This happened once again a year later when Anneliese woke up in the middle of the night in a trance, wetting her bed in the process. That's not that out of the ordinary, right?
No, I know you do that on
People do it all the time.
at least 3 times a night.
Not just me.
Yeah, no,
People.
it's not just you.
Me and Anneliese.
Yeah.
But so she wet her bed, and she was also wandering around in a trance, And in 1968, at the age of 16, she suffered a severe convulsion and was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy, a disorder that causes seizures, loss of memory, and visual and auditory hallucinations. So, I mean, that you would think that right there. You're like, oh, she's not possessed,
Yeah, that sounds scientifically solid, just being like, yeah, she's not doing so good.
Exactly.
Up in the head,
But let's get into it.
Well, the demons are in her.
After this event, she frequented psychiatrist hospitals where they would perform tests on Anneliese and to try to find a cure for the seizures. And 2 years later, in June of 1970, Michelle, sometimes she goes by Michelle. I think that's her last name. I don't know if it's Michel or Michelle.
I've heard Michelle.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's Michelle.
I think it's Michelle. It's spelled Michel, so it doesn't look like Michelle.
Yeah.
But Michelle suffered a third seizure at the psychiatric hospital where she had been staying. She was prescribed anti-convulsion drugs for the first time, including Dilantin, which did not alleviate the problem. And it was during her time at the hospital that Anneliese began to see demonic faces, which whispered to her that she was damned, quote-unquote damned, not like in the cool way, like, well, I'll be damned.
Or not like a large concrete slab holding water from...
I think she did mean that.
Oh, okay.
She's like, they're like, you're Hoover Dam. And she's like,
the Hoover Dam.
That created a lot of jobs in America during the Great Depression.
Which hasn't happened yet. Or has it?
What?
Wait, when did this... I forgot when this took place.
I think you meant, is the Hoover Dam a thing? And I was like, it's a thing, dude.
I mean...
No, it's a
hoax.
Oh, no, it had already happened.
What year is this?
1970.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you said 1917.
No, the demons were fully aware of the Hoover Dam.
Of the Hoover Dam. That's why they're pointing all their dark magic at Germany.
You get it.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain this to you.
Yeah.
So they would whisper to her that she was damned, and the faces would appear to the girl as she prayed, promising Anneliese that she would rot in hell.
Okay.
That's a little more aggressive.
Is it worse to rot in hell, or is it worse to cook in hell?
Well, it actually, I found 2 different translations. One said rotten hell, and this one's even better. What did you say, cook in hell?
Is it roast?
Roast in hell? No.
Oh, okay.
Stew in hell.
Ooh, so like a little bathtub.
But stew is like
a cauldron?
Who doesn't like a stew?
Oh,
so, I mean,
maybe you got a stew going.
No one likes rot. Everyone likes stew. Let's
Yeah.
just say that. So, that same month, she was prescribed another drug. It was called Aolept. I can't pronounce that.
Okay.
Aolept, which is used in the treatment of various psychoses, including schizophrenia, disturbed behavior, and delusions. But the drugs had no effect, and Anneliese fell into a pit of depression. Though she believed that taking her own life would be an unforgivable sin, Anneliese frequently considered suicide. She would leave the hospital, but the seizures and the demons would not be far behind.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're kind of hard to get rid of.
They stick.
They don't rely on GPS.
I'm stuck on demons, and demons stuck on me.
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
I have no idea what that is.
That was the Band-Aids theme song.
Oh.
I'm stuck on Band-Aids.
When was the last time you saw a commercial for a Band-Aid?
You know who wrote that theme song?
Kenny Loggins.
Barry Manilow.
Oh, fuck. I was close.
You were in the same ballpark, I
Yeah.
think. But I digress. I can't get into Barry Manilow and demons in the same goddamn story. It's too much.
It's too much.
But in 1973, at the age of 21, so a couple years later, Anneliese enrolled into the University of Würzburg, while her classmates described her as withdrawn and very religious. So not a lot has changed.
Yeah.
Still very religious, maybe a little bit more secluded. Because when you're that religious,
Yeah.
you got to find religious people.
New
to
school,
talk to.
new you.
Yeah. Same her. Same her.
It sounds like she's going to get worse, though.
But yeah, she slipped deeper and deeper into depression. After 5 years of no improvement, both Anneliese and her family began to become frustrated and thought it was time to take matters into their own hands. They noticed that Anneliese would cower while walking past churches and became intolerant of religious figures like the crucifix, leading the entire family to believe that Anneliese wasn't afflicted by any medical disorder known to man, but that her illness was the work of Lucifer himself.
Demons.
So, I mean, that is kind of a weird thing where you're so obsessed and enthralled with with this. It's like your biggest hobby ever,
Yeah.
and then you get this illness,
Yeah.
and you're cowering at the same thing that you absolutely like. It's your whole life, and
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I would believe it's like rabies.
Yeah, it's just like rabies.
No, you know what I mean. We're like, okay, if you guys don't know about rabies, once you get rabies, you have
crave more of it.
No, no, not that. You have an insatiable thirst, but you have a fear of water. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah,
Makes
so
sense,
you're
I guess.
really thirsty. People die of dehydration.
Okay.
It's a really weird disease.
So is that kind of like when it's like a thing that if you find bats in your shower, you're supposed to like...
You find bats in your shower?
I don't personally, but I know it's like a thing people find bats in their shower, and that's like a sign that they have rabies. And you're supposed to like toss those boys in the garbage before they bite someone because you can die from rabies in like a week.
Are you saying? Oh, you mean? Oh, I thought you meant if somebody walks
baseball
in.
bat?
No. No, I thought you meant if somebody walks into a shower and they see a bat in their shower, as in a vampire bat.
Yeah.
They go, "Oh my god, I think I have rabies."
No.
Not the
bat has rabies.
I'm so
Oh,
stupid.
Good.
Yeah, well, I
Good
mean,
golly.
you should never assume that, any wild creature like raccoons, possums, all that, like they always go, stay away, it might have
Yeah.
rabies, but you kind of know because, they
Oh,
fall
and then
from
like
the mouth. And
the
they're-
raccoons that are normally like nocturnal, if they're out during the day, or possums, like they're out during the day, that's usually a good sign that they have rabies as well. Because
Yeah.
they're like so mentally distraught. And
They're not like afraid of anything.
welcome
except for
back
water.
to the David Stokes Nature Show.
Yeah, well, we always sometimes.
Gotcha.
We always somehow end up
gotcha again.
end up at an animal. Well, I told you about rabies, so
Yeah. I was just waiting for my opportunity.
I'm bringing something to the table. So Michelle or Anneliese went to San Damiano to a church to try to get the priest there to exorcise her because they believe that there's a demon inside her.
Did they need to go to like a specific place to get the, like, did they have like, did he have a Yelp review?
I think
being
it
like,
was-
great exorcism.
I don't think so, but
Okay.
I think it's just probably a prominent church, like
Okay.
probably one of the biggest in their like area.
Cool.
But she went with a family friend who regularly organized Christian pilgrimages. And when she got to the church, she expressed that she could not stand on the soil around the church because it burned like fire. The Michel family begged the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism, but many of the priests denied the request, stating that she needed to continue her medical treatment, which is cool. It's not like, Christian Scientists.
Yeah, I know tons of them.
There's like, okay, yeah, you have this cancer, we could pray it away. Like
Yeah.
back then, like even
Doesn't
in the
work that way.
70s, they're like, just like keep taking your pills. Like it might be something else.
Yeah.
So they told her to keep the medical treatment going. And also priests couldn't even approve the exorcism if they wanted to because it needed to be approved by a higher ranking bishop. And I don't ask me how like the rankings go up, but I think it's like priest, bishop, archbishop, cardinal, pope. And I could be wrong in that, but
That sounds right.
it's
I don't
something
know.
along those
I
lines.
don't
So
know.
it needed to be a higher position.
Yeah.
At this point, they had been denied twice by the Catholic Church until Anneliese wrote a letter to priest Ernst Alt, which is a cool name, to give to Bishop Joseph Strangel, which is also a pretty cool name, in 1975, stating, she wrote this in a handwritten letter, "I am nothing. Everything about me is vanity. What should I do? I have to improve. You pray for me." And also once told him, "I want to suffer for other people, but this is so cruel." After reading the letter, and with much deliberation, Bishop Strangel granted priest Arnold Renz permission to exorcise Anneliese under total secrecy, hiding the Catholic Church's involvement with the ritual altogether. So they didn't want any part of this.
Yeah.
The stigma is, I think they still do that today.
Yeah.
Where if
Do they
people-
still do exorcisms today?
There's like rumors
Who
out there.
knows?
There's
Yeah.
rumors out there that they do. I mean, they do in other countries, but I don't know if the Catholic Church really like promotes that.
Yeah.
I think they believe that there's certain cases where maybe they have to intervene and try something, but they don't want to come off like a hocus pocus.
They're not putting a Craigslist ad up.
Oh, I think they did.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you're wrong.
It was that Bishop Savage. What was his name?
Bishop Strangle? Joseph Strangle?
Bishop
Savage.
Strangle.
Hey, brother, I'm Bishop Savage. I'm here to put the pile driver on your ass. So, Bishop Randy Savage No. So when Renz, the priest that was given permission to perform the exorcism, was called to the house with priest Alt, who was also the kind of like her representative. When he got to the house, he witnessed behavior that shocked and disturbed him to his core. This is fucking weird. Anneliese would tear off all of her clothes and urinate on the floor, lapping it up like a dog after.
I don't even have a comment.
No, you don't, because she did more stuff than that, okay?
Okay.
She ate flies, spiders, and coal.
I'm pretty sure we all do that in our sleep, though.
Except for the coal.
Nah.
The coal's harder to fall into your mouth.
Hey, around the holidays, you never know.
True. You've been bad.
You've
been bad. You found a lump of coal in your mouth. She then bit off the head of a dead bird.
Classic. At least it was dead. At least it was dead.
True. And in one instance, she crawled under a table and barked like a dog for 2 days.
2 days?
2 days.
You think her voice would give out?
You think she'd just get
You think the neighbor's dog was just losing his shit?
It's like, the dog's like, oh, I've never heard that dog. Whose dog is that? That's fun.
Yeah.
And just the icing on the cake, she could often be heard screaming through the walls for hours. so that dog...
It's not funny, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it's sad, but we're making light of it.
It's not too soon.
No, it's been a while. It's been a while. You have to do that. On September 25th, 1975, Renz and Alt performed the first rite of exorcism. Over the next 10 months, Anneliese would endure 67 rites of exorcism, 1 or 2 times a week, lasting up to 4 hours a session.
How does that... I'm like trying to do the mental math there. I'm terrible at math, but you said 67?
67 rites of exorcism, about 4 hours each.
How does that even add up? Did they ever take a break?
No, well, it's over 10 months.
Oh, I thought you said a week.
No.
It's like, that doesn't seem like that adds up.
They would do these rites once or twice a week.
Yeah.
So it took them about 10 months to get 67 of them in. And the exorcisms worked for a few weeks, actually, in the beginning. But she eventually fell back into her ways as she would attack family members on a daily basis, leaving them badly bruised, scratched, and even biting them.
Yeah.
So...
Well, she's biting dead birds' heads off. I'm sure she's going to bite a thumb or two.
The dog got out from under the table and is biting everybody. The dog biting everybody. Don't pet the dog no more. Is that not okay?
That's not a dog.
they're like,
if it walks like a
Joseph,
if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck.
Joseph, that's not a dog. That's a dog if I've ever seen one. And it barked for a long time. Now the bark matched the bite.
I'm going to also throw it out there. This is Germany. So I don't know what accent
That's not a German accent? Oh, God, I have a lot of people to apologize to. So, as far as the exorcisms went, Renz and Alt would chain Anneliese to the bed to perform the ritualistic exorcism. They would also have her perform 600 genuflections during the rites, eventually causing both of her kneecaps to be broken and rupturing ligaments in her legs. Do you know what a genuflection is?
I was thinking it was somewhere between like a jumping jack and up and down, but I don't.
You better exorcise those demons out of you. Like, you better do some jumping jacks.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, a genuflection is they do it in church now. It's when you walk up to a pew and you see somebody get on one knee and they make the sign of the cross.
What's a pew?
A pew is in a church. They have the wooden benches. Those are pews. So you walk up to a pew and you face the big crucifix or cross at the front of the church in Catholic churches, because that was confirmed. And you get on one knee and you go, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You touch your forehead, chest, shoulder, and you get up. But I guess her genuflections were down on both knees, or maybe they're just, switching knees or something.
So she was just like pile driving her knees into this wooden bench, over and over and over and over again.
I mean, six. You don't do it on the wooden bench; you do it on the ground next to the wooden bench. But it doesn't really matter if you're near the wooden bench to be a genuflection. Okay. I'm just saying that's where a lot of genuflections take place nowadays. Okay. So they're just doing it as like. It's kind of like get on your knees in front of God and pray. Not like that. Don't smile at me when I say that. But you get on your knees and you pay respects or whatever, like, you pay respects to the father.
More voices. Let's do it.
You pay. I'll give you a father you can't refuse. So she busted up her knees real bad, bad. I mean 600, maybe a right. Yeah, 600 for 4 hours. It's like, that guy didn't have any other like things in his playbook. He's like, just keep genuflecting.
He's just trying to exhaust her to the point that she can't do this shit, but she just keeps doing it.
I can see him flipping through pages and being like, just keep genuflecting. And he's like, can't find another thing to do.
Yeah.
He's like, we already used the holy water. We're out of holy water. Keep genuflecting. So through the session, Anneliese revealed that she believed that she was possessed. This is the best part. This is by far the best part.
Yeah. Anneliese
thought she was possessed by 5 demons. You want to hear the 5?
I'd love to hear all 5.
This is the big 5.
Big 5.
Big 5 in hell.
Okay. So this isn't a sporting store. This is like...
Not big 5 sporting.
It's like the dream team, Olympic teams.
Yeah, okay. of hell.
Yeah.
We got Lucifer.
Okay, classic.
We got...
Household name.
Cain.
Oh, like the WWF wrestler.
Not him.
Oh.
Not Macho Man Cain.
Okay.
No, Cain as in Cain and Abel. I killed my brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
First murder ever. Judas Iscariot,
Yeah, the guy who sold out.
Betrayed Jesus.
JC.
Nero, who was
the EDM guy?
No, he was a Roman emperor, I guess, and he was just like a horrible piece of shit.
Okay.
And, of course, it's not hell. It's not hell without Adolf Hitler. So Adolf was there, too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so crazy, right?
Your boy Adolf. He came back to Germany.
I guess. So that's pretty crazy. And
I have 1970 tour.
I have some quotes of what they said through her.
Okay.
So Lucifer said, I got 2 quotes from him. He says, I want to conquer the earth for myself. In the meantime, I make a rich booty. I am filling up my kingdom. I take whatever I can take. I must convince you of this. And he also said, I took Judas with me. He is always at my service. He is damned. He could have saved himself, but he has not followed the Nazarene.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know what a Nazarene is.
It has something to do with the Bible.
Yeah. Judas said, I will not come out of this girl. Down there, it is too tormenting. Weird.
So that's him being like, don't make me go back to hell. I want to stay up here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they got they're just. I mean, you heard he said Lucifer's like, I took Judas with me. He's always at my service. So Judas is just like getting the shit kicked out of him daily. Yeah. He's like, I'm not leaving the girl. I'm gonna be on the surface talking to you guys. It's too shitty down there.
That's what you get, you snitch.
This is what Cain said. Cain keeps it real short, real simple.
He's like, hey, do you have a brother?
Cain said, I have killed my brother. I am burning.
Sweet, classic, right to the point. Love it. Keep it up, Cain. Good job, bud.
Yeah, Cain's killing it.
Yeah.
He's killing his brother. And then Hitler, Nero didn't really say anything, or he said some shit that wasn't even that cool. You're just like, Nero, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, shut up, dude.
Wasn't he known as like one of the greatest speech, like speech deliverer? Like he gave like some of the best. Yeah, like Hitler gave some of like the best speeches, regardless on what his point of view and like his beliefs were.
He was a good public speaker. That's how he got like into office, basically. But I mean,
he's really dropping the ball on this one, huh?
Well, no, that was Nero. I just said Nero.
Oh, I think you said Hitler didn't say anything.
No, Hitler said, men are so beastly stupid. They believe that after death, all is finished, but life goes on, either up or down.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Yeah, so, I mean, damn, Hitler. But you want to know what the funny thing is? So, apparently these voices argued with each other, with Hitler saying, or they argued with the priests, with Hitler saying, people are stupid as pigs. They think it's all over after death. Oh, I already wrote that. They think it's all over after death, life goes on. And Judas saying Hitler was nothing but a big mouth who had no real say in hell, which is so fucking funny.
I love the demon bickering.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, oh, Hitler's a piece of shit. Apparently, like, I read numerous, quotes to say, like, all the other demons were like, Hitler's a bitch.
Yeah,
like,
they all ganged up on Hitler.
They apparently didn't like Hitler. This is another quote I read, because he bragged a bunch.
Yeah. I'd buy it.
What a fucking piece of shit, dude. Hitler sucks, man. Hot take. Hitler sucks.
Ooh.
But
Gonna upset a lot of listeners with that one.
so,
I think.
so Anneliese stopped eating altogether, saying that the demons would not let her. And after a couple months of very little food and water, Anneliese came down with pneumonia and a fever. She became emaciated, dropping under 100 pounds. Still, the two priests continued the sessions. So it's like, come on, guys. What are you doing at this
Well,
point?
I mean, the demons aren't gonna take a day off.
No, I guess not. But, like, wouldn't have thrown a towel. Now it's like their pride on the line where they're like, we can't fail. Like,
Yeah, I can't let the demons win.
we got to look good. We can't give her to the hospital,
The power of Christ compels you.
So the final exorcism was done on June 30th, 1976. Anneliese, too frail to perform the genuflections herself, was helped by her parents. On the tape, Anneliese speaks for the last time. She tells Renz and Alt to beg for absolution, then turns her attention to her family through tears. Anneliese whispers, "Mother, I'm afraid." It's like really sad, actually.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's like, damn, that sucks.
Those were her last words. Mother, I'm afraid.
I mean, one of the last words.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then on the morning of July 1st, 1976, Anneliese Michel died of malnutrition and dehydration. According to the coroner report, she weighed about 68 pounds.
How do you know how tall she was? Just to, like, put that in perspective.
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably a 23-year-old girl. I'm guessing
Yeah.
probably 5'6" to 5'8".
Yeah.
On like
God damn.
somewhere around there. Father Renz, Pastor Ernst Alt, and Anneliese Michel's parents, Joseph and Anna, all four were found guilty of negligent homicide and sentenced to 6 months in prison
Oh,
and suspended with 3 years probation.
damn.
She was... I think the creepiest thing about this whole thing is, remember in the beginning you were like, might just be mental illness, which is true.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who knows? But she was prescribed antipsychotic drugs during the beginning of the exorcisms,
Yeah.
about a year before, and she took them during the course of the religious rites frequently until the time before her death.
Yeah.
So she took her medication the whole
Yeah.
time, which is probably the most disturbing part.
Yeah.
I mean, other than...
Who knows? Maybe the demons were making her spit them out, though.
Who knows? Maybe
knows?
they had some kind of effect, but I mean, I think that is probably the most disturbing part, but the other most disturbing part is an audio clip I have.
Yeah.
Because the priest recorded all of these meetings on cassette.
Yeah, thank God it was the 70s where we had that technology to do so.
Yeah, so this is what Anneliese sounded like as a normal girl. She was a pretty girl, actually. And if you see the before and after pictures, I'm sure we'll post them on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's really, really sad. She looks so emaciated, dark circles under her eyes. Looks like she's been like biting her lips and like there's like sores and stuff, and it's just...
Well, I mean,
it's awful.
the original Exorcism movie was kind of based off it, right? So
Yeah.
the image that they put that girl in is like pretty close, like with because her lips are all torn up and her eyes were all crazy.
And the urinating, like,
Yeah.
remember that's the big opening scene. But this is what she sounded like as a normal girl. So she sounded relatively normal. She sounded like a normal young girl.
Little German girl.
And then this is when Hitler was possessing her body.
Oh, so this is actually like Hitler. This is like on paper saying this is Hitler talking through her right now.
Yeah, this Hitler, she's like, I'm Hitler, it's talking through it. And
But it's in German, correct?
it's in German.
Okay.
So this is
clarify.
what Hitler, I read some of the transcripts, but there are a lot of like nonsense too a lot of the time. So I mean, who really knows? But this is what Hitler sounded like as he possessed Anneliese. Pretty fucked up. That is fucking frightening. I'm sorry.
That sounds like Hitler to me.
If you listen to that like in the dark and like by yourself, like, there's hours and hours of this footage on not footage but audio recordings on YouTube, and they're really, really disturbing actually. Like,
Oh yeah, no, that's like it's incredible to think that that's
Ooh.
like coming out of a 23-year-old girl,
Young girl.
and
Who you heard her
it's
voice
like,
in the beginning. She doesn't
yeah,
sound like that.
and it's not like edited or anything. Like, you know, like movies, you watch movies, there's like a creepy exorcism thing, and like they use, you know, Hollywood magic to make it sound way creepier than it is, but like that's just a priest recording a girl.
Raw audio, and
Yeah.
it's just disturbing to say the least, you know?
Yeah. You sure you don't want to play like 5 more hours of that and we can have a really long podcast?
Yeah, who wants to like, I would just
Let's
love
buckle
for
down.
somebody to like, you roll up to the drive-through window as you're listening to this, and then all of a sudden that part comes on and think,
Yeah.
It's like
it's good.
new Norwegian black metal
Yeah, it's good.
going on there. So that is the Exorcism of Anneliese Michel.
So, does that mean it's my turn to tell my my fun little story today?
It does.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my my lovely story today for you guys.
It's lovely?
And it's not. It's yeah. I'm not gonna say it's lovely. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just a little strange.
Wait, where are we right now?
Yeah. So mine is a legend, and this legend takes place in the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England.
That's a mouthful and a half.
Yes, and so this happened around sometime in the 12th century. You know.
Oh wow, this is old legend.
English tale.
I forgot where I was supposed to use "and" for a second.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, back in the 12th century, we used to go down the hill on the sled with old Ed Sheeran.
That's all I know. They
Some
have,
more terrible Game of Thrones.
that's not a Game of Thrones. That's a Castle on the Hill reference.
Well, no, I'm saying that one time Ed Sheeran was in Game of Thrones.
That was bad. Oh, you're doing it again. We're digressing.
I know. I'm sorry. So one day around harvesting time, under the rule of King Stephen, you know King Stephen.
No way. That's a bad name.
King Stephen.
That's a very bad name.
No, he's a king. So what are you? Yeah,
No, Steven.
that's what I thought. So in the village of Woolpit, they during the harvesting time they found these 2 children who were brother and sister, and they're hanging out near one of the wolf pits, which I had to look up what a wolf pit was. And it's
Can I guess before?
yeah, you can guess.
Is this where they would throw people in who were accused of crimes, and then wolves would tear them apart?
No, but I'm sure they could. So the concept of a wolf pit was they would construct these huge pits in the ground that were lined with like stone and stuff, and the idea was that wolves would just fall in and get stuck, and so they would have them caught, and it would keep the village safe.
Oh, so
It's kind of like a moat.
It's a humane way of, but I mean, it's not humane.
Oh, no, they'd
'cause
kill 'em.
They'd kill them, yeah.
Yeah, for
But-
pelts and stuff like that.
So it was an easy hunting, like, alternative.
Like, no effort.
Instead of like sneaking around and trying to find the wolf falls in the pit.
yeah,
Throw a rock down there.
yeah. And from what I read, somehow the name of the town Woolpit, they got from the wolf pits.
Must have the most in the county.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they can. I mean, when I think of wool, I only think of sheep's wool.
Well,
They call other pelts wool.
I think some things end up transforming over time. You like the
Yeah.
like, oh, wolf pit.
Yeah,
You know?
wolf pit.
Oh, you go down to the wolf pit.
Yeah, exactly. They just lost, the VE.
That happens with last names too. Like when
Oh,
you go
yeah.
over to America. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
So
So normally finding 2 kids hanging out like wouldn't be that worth chatting about, you know. But these 2 kids had something very bizarre about them. And I've been trying to think of something like a funny way of saying this, and there's really no other funny way of saying it except for they had fucking green skin.
wait. What?
Yeah. No, the kids, they had green skin.
All I have to say, can I say one thing about that?
Yeah.
Ogres are like onions. Are they ogres?
And
I always like to say ogres are like onions.
yeah, no, they're not ogres. At least
Okay.
I don't think they're ogres. So upon finding the children, the villagers try to communicate with the kids, but immediately found out that they don't speak any English.
Sounds like an ogre to me.
Yeah, they speak their own language. So like the kids could communicate with each other. So there was some form of language, but it was like nothing anybody would ever just like. They weren't just like, oh, that's German or something.
They're like boom, 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 and let me say, oh,
Hey-oh. so no, it wasn't like
They're
that.
like, damn, these kids are cool.
No, that wasn't quite like that. And another thing that was strange about them is that their clothing was very different, which doesn't seem that weird, but in like the 12th century, like
It wasn't a burlap sack.
exactly, there weren't a lot of options as far as it went clothing. So if someone showed up not wearing something that like you've seen before, it's like
They had two colors back then.
yeah,
Like
brown.
they had black
They had
and
black.
then dirty white.
Yes,
Because nothing stayed white.
it was somewhere between brand new white and black is the two colors. they had.
Exactly. It was like is black and a transition to black.
Yeah. And so, that doesn't seem that weird, but, for back then, it's like that really stands out. The kids also had a very strict Hollywood-esque diet,
Ooh.
and it was strictly one thing.
Can I guess?
Only thing that, yes, I'd love it if you'd guess.
Well, okay, let's think about what they had in the 12th century, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you guys on your headphones can guess along with me, but I'm gonna go with something that's not too common that they probably didn't have a lot of, and it took a little searching. Robin's eggs.
No.
Was I close?
No.
Okay, let me guess one more thing. Blood pudding.
Blood pudding, no. They weren't eating blood pudding. So the only thing that these kids would eat would be raw broad beans.
Broad beans was my third guess.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Fuck. What's a broad bean?
A broad bean, it's like like a long like bean, like the tube with the beans in them and stuff.
That's a broad bean?
Yeah.
It's a string bean.
It's like I think a broad bean's like a thick
bigger-
daddy boy.
Like
string.
a big fat
Yeah,
daddy?
look at that little string boy. You got the broad boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that I'm under the assumption that they live in a place that mainly has broad beans or only has broad beans.
Well, I
correct?
see. I feel like that's part of the mystery. Is like
Or are they like flamingos where they...
I don't think the green children are flamingos.
Hear me out. Flamingos turn... we're going back into nature, but flamingos turn pink because they eat so much shrimp. Do you know that?
Shrimp.
Yeah, they eat so much shrimp, they turn pink.
Yeah.
So maybe their skin turned green because they're eating a bunch of green beans.
Well, why don't you put your seatbelt on? Because after time, the children learned how to eat other foods outside of raw broad beans, and slowly their skin started to turn back to a normal like pigment.
Yo, what's up?
There you go.
Yo,
Science.
what's up? I could have dissected these kids from a mile away.
Yeah.
Be like, that's a flamingo.
That's a flamingo child.
Do you think that they're flamingos and they just thought they were skinny children?
it's possible?
Look at that long-legged child.
So you're telling me if you fed a flamingo straight broad beans, would they turn green?
Probably not. I mean, I think shrimp have a pigmentation in them that turns people's skin. Like, maybe if you fed them a bunch of carrots, though, they turn orange, because
See really
humans
good.
do.
Yeah.
No, that's a myth. Carrots don't make your eyesight better.
Yeah, it does.
Let's not get into that, though, okay? It's not.
Okay, so in an attempt to introduce the kids into like their society, both children were baptized. Unfortunately, quickly after they were baptized, the boy became very ill and died.
Would do they use water?
Baptized.
I mean,
What is he, a demon?
This is the 12th century.
I mean, like what? What is he? What is he, a demon?
they're like, hey,
Oh, green demon!
they're like, we're gonna baptize you. And they're like, oh, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's where we put water on you and you become our religion. And they're like, that's not bad. They're like, yeah, but like you're kind of weird, so
This might do something to you.
we're gonna use molten gold.
Molten gold.
You
No.
know, like I mean, he died via the baptism, or he died shortly after the baptism. Like, did the baptism make him ill? I guess that's my question.
It's the 12th century.
Everybody's ill.
Yeah, everybody's sick. So
Nobody's healthy.
it makes you wonder maybe the body of water that they were baptized in could have been carrying some disease. Probably like 100 feet down the river, up the stream, there were a bunch of dead cow or something.
Some guy was taking a fat broad bean shit.
Yeah, exactly. So after the passing of her brother, the girl started to learn English. Where after a time, she was able to like finally communicate with the people and tell them where she was from. The girl explained to the people that they came from a land, and this is a quote, where the sun never shone and the light was like twilight.
How did she know the word Twilight?
I don't know.
Wow. She jumped all the way to Twilight? I didn't learn
Yeah.
Twilight until I was 18 and a half.
When you started reading the books?
No.
No.
I'd never read those books.
I'm sure you did
But
it.
I heard a lot of jibber-jabber about them.
So the girl named the place St. Martin's Land and said everything was green.
I know where that is.
Do you?
Yeah, I've been there.
Have you?
No.
Bet you have. So the girl had a hard time recalling exactly how her and her brother ended up at the wolf pits, and said that her and her brother were herding their father's cattle when they heard a loud sound, which is believed to be the church bells from the town nearby Bury St. Edmunds.
Is that a town or a church? Or
It's a town.
Bury Saint?
Bury St. Edmunds. I
Okay.
believe I'm saying that right. Probably butchering it, but that's the way I'm reading it. So the girl said that they followed the loud sound through a cave and emerged into the lands of Woolpit, which is like a strange thing for me to think of, is that if these people are living underground, and for her to say, oh, we went through a cave and came out into like the world, that's weird to think if someone lived in a cave their entire life.
I don't think
And
that...
you go the other way out of a cave. Like, as far as they're concerned, like, going into the cave is exiting it to us because they don't know any different.
Yeah, true. But, like, there's a part of me that when they say they had cattle,
Yeah.
they lived in a land of always twilight,
Yeah.
that makes me think that it's some kind of portal and not necessarily they're living underground.
Yeah.
But when they emerged from the cave, they turned around and realized that it looked like it was underground, so maybe they said we came from underground.
Yeah.
But what they really came from was a alternate dimension
Yeah.
or a portal of some sort that
Well.
brought them to a different universe.
We might get to that.
They have cattle in that universe, though.
Yeah.
So.
But they're like way beefier and stacked with just like ribs.
They got two sets of ribs,
2 sets of ribs.
8 sets of teeth. You can't do much with the teeth. But
No. Weapons.
you make weapons out of...
You can do anything with teeth.
That's I don't know who said it, Dahmer or Stokes.
We'll
you can
find
do
out.
anything with teeth.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
So the girl continued to live somewhat of a normal life, and then she eventually adopted the name Agnes. Beautiful name.
That's a bad name.
That's a bad.
What color did she turn to?
I'm assuming just like
British pale white.
yeah. That's my guess.
That's fair.
And so Agnes ended up marrying a royal official named Richard Bear.
Dick Bear.
Thick Bear.
Okay.
So the question is, like, where the hell did these kids come from? Could there still be civilization of green skin, green bean fashion forward people living under the ground in England?
Yo, I got a good joke. Ready?
Yeah.
Yo, you never heard of LL Bean? Oh, man.
Yeah. So, where'd these people come from, huh? And so no one at the time, like, really cared. You, like, reading back on, like, the officials of the time and, like, people that were around, they're just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Just shrug our shoulders and just like move on from it. Like, no one really asked many questions after that, which is leading to us today to be like, wait, like, hold on, like, we want answers.
It is kind of weird because, especially in that time where superstition and like science was so primitive,
Yeah.
that superstition and mythology and
witchcraft.
magic and witchcraft.
Yeah.
This all became the forefront of science because science wasn't a thing, or
Yeah.
it was very primitive at the time. So you would think that they would make a huge deal out of it, but I mean,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, maybe they kept it under wraps pretty well. Like
Maybe they did know.
Oh, maybe the people asked them on like from the portal, were like, our daughter likes it here. Please don't tell anybody about this. We'd really appreciate it. And I mean, she turned from green skin to British pale white pretty quick. So I bet she blended in pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
I mean, there probably wasn't much of a story outside that one village or the villages surrounding it, and they all agreed, hey, let's keep Bean Girl.
Yeah, keep that bean girl in the corner.
Yeah, poor Bean Boy though.
Yeah, Bean Boy's gone. So like I was saying, a lot of people were just kind of like, oh well, whatever, move on from it. Who knows? Back then it's harder for people to be like, oh shit, did you hear about that bean girl? Uh, and so this also led to a lot of folklore, which what like folklore is.
Oh, I'm aware of what folklore
Yes.
is.
So some of which there's a scholar named Charles Oman who made note of the green children, saying that they passed through a different reality when they went through the cave.
That's what
Kind
I
of like
think.
what you're saying. You're on the same book as Oman.
Charles, I beat you to the punch.
Yeah, you definitely did.
He's dead, so I mean,
Yeah.
who's winning?
He's still swinging.
Oh, who's still swinging? They say he's still swinging. I'm like,
No, you're still swinging.
hell yeah, I am.
So then there was also a longer story from Gerald of Wales, which was very similar.
Gerald?
Gerald.
That guy's trying to be fancy.
Yeah. So he had a book that told a tale of a boy who, after escaping his masters, is encountered by two pygmies, which led him through an underground passage to a beautiful land filled with fields and rivers, but not lit by the light of sun.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, pygmies are small. That's a derogatory term for a small person, correct?
Yeah.
Not a little person, but
an elf.
yeah.
I don't know, some mystical kind of thing.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
that's pretty. I mean, I'm picturing it right now. I'm picturing it in an Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe, but it's pretty interesting to think that like they live in a land of always twilight, where it's like a half sun type
it's
thing
kinda
going
dusky.
on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's my favorite time of day. right?
Yeah. Oh.
Twilight, sunset,
Or the golden hour.
dusk, dawn. It's nice.
When you get the sun going through that LA smog, it's beautiful.
Oh my god,
The way the smog hits the downtown.
so red.
So there's also tales of the children possibly being aliens.
Oh, that's I
Yeah,
didn't
they
think
got
about
green
that.
skin. They didn't speak English. They ate weird stuff. It's definitely a possibility.
They have beans in space, right?
Yeah, they got space beans.
Space beans.
And there's also people saying that they're inhabitants of the world beneath our Earth.
Lizard people.
Well, I always pictured mold people to be covered in hair. Not green, but that's just me.
Wow.
But in all reality, as people look back on it now, they believe it was solely had to deal with sickness and dietary deficiencies.
So you think they were like a light green, not like a full blown, like what we picture as green, where it's like grass green, but they were
Yeah.
just kind of like a hue of green.
Yeah.
But it's still really interesting to think that these children did not go, hey, we know which way we came, bring us back to our father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's what adds the mystery to it. It's like the kids didn't speak English. They didn't know where they lived. They couldn't take them back to their parents or anything like that. And I feel like that's if the kids showed up green and were speaking English and just being like, yeah, we eat a lot of this one thing and we don't see much light, then it's like, oh, okay.
that is really strange because like you could say, oh, dietary deficiency, but that like you said, that explains one thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain the language. It doesn't explain we live in a land of always twilight. We came from underground.
Yeah. So I have a quote from a historian, Derek Brewers, who said, "The likely core of the matter is that these small children, herding or following flock strayed from their forest village, spoke little, and in modern terms did not know their own home address. They were probably suffering from chlorosis, a deficiency disease which gives the skin a greenish tint, hence the term green sickness. With a better diet, it disappears."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So it's a possibility that, that's it.
It's interesting to think that we can come up with a scientific explanation of what happened there,
Yeah.
and also that we didn't just discredit it immediately.
Yeah.
Because if somebody told me, hey, a bunch of two green kids showed up to the farm a couple 100 years ago, and I'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that they might have just existed and there's not folklore. And if they did exist, that guy might be wrong as well, and they could be from a different dimension.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, like he said, it is a possibility that they didn't know their home address. They had a bad diet. They didn't know proper language. But there's also a chance that he is completely wrong because he's judging this from modern times.
Exactly.
So it's all just a guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's what I found so fascinating about it is it's like there could be answers for everything, but there's just so many things wrong with this story that's like, how many turns can you take to just be like, oh yeah, they didn't have a good diet. They just weren't, I don't know, smart. They spoke their own language.
And they're interested enough
they made
to
their
write
own
about.
clothes.
So, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Bean kids.
Yeah, so
That's
those are my bean kids, my bean boys. Well,
Bean
rest
boy.
in peace, bean boy.
Bean boy, rest in peace. Bean
Yeah.
girl, thriving with Dick Bear.
Yeah.
Richard the Bear.
Yes.
Richard Bear.
The official.
Do they have any kids?
Not that I saw of. Maybe
She was...
they had a daughter that remarried down
She was
the Tobin
barren.
bloodline.
What? I'm Bean Boy 2?
You're Bean Boy Part 2.
Yo, if Bean Boy was so good, why didn't they make a Bean Boy 2?
It's facts.
Yeah, I'm Bean Boy 2.
You're Bean Boy 2.
Anyway. Well, that was strange. That was creepy. That was not creepy, but more mystical, weird. Mine was pretty creepy, but...
Yeah, see, you took
to-
yours to like 11 out of 10, and I wanted to tone mine down to like a 4 out of 10 for just being strange.
Mine was disturbing and kind of depressing and really creepy. And yours is just like kind of elf in the woods, like strange,
Yeah.
weird. And I like that too. That's awesome. It's a nice balance right there.
Yeah, we like to keep it spooky, but we also like to keep it very mysterious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff out there, and it doesn't all have to be upsetting. You know?
Yeah, there can be some happy
It can be
strange.
fun stuff. But I think that concludes both of our stories. You know,
I think we're done here.
I'd like to say if you guys could leave a review on iTunes, that would be amazing. We'd really appreciate that. Add us on Instagram. I think that's our most active.
Yeah,
thing
it's
we're
definitely
using.
our most active for sure.
Yeah, and that's at Camp Strange Podcast. I almost said .com. It's at Instagram, so at Camp Strange Podcast.
No underscore or anything with that. It's just at Camp Strange Podcast.
You could see pictures of Anneliese Michel, and hopefully this...
Oh, there are some beautiful portrait paintings of the green children.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I want to see these.
I want to adopt
real
these
bad.
little green babies and just feed them just beans. As many beans as they want.
wanna-
Yes, more beans, more beans.
I want to cuddle them in the wolf pit.
Yes.
So yeah, follow us on there. We also have Facebook at Camp Strange. We have Twitter at Camp Strange, and
If you just go to our website, campstrange.com, you can find all the hyperlinks and everything to each social media, correct?
and also true, and also go on to at campstrange.com. Go to campstrange.com and go to the contact link, and you can send us your personal, strange, weird, scary story. I mean,
Or an intro.
no, you could tweet us an intro.
Yeah, I don't care. Just send them to us.
Hashtag Camp Strange intro.
CSI.
Either one.
Don't do CSI. We'll probably never find it. There's
So, yeah.
big following.
Hashtag Camp Strange intro. Just a little 3-word thing going on, and we'd really appreciate it because you get some free publicity right now. If you just,
I mean, it's not really publicity, but it's, why wouldn't you want to hear Tobin say what you said?
I can say what you said.
You can say what you said, and then we'll give you a little shout out with your name / handle, whatever it is, and then you can say, hey, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. They said what I said.
Yeah.
Then you could be credited as a writer for the... Oh, shit. Is this a loophole that we didn't think about?
But overall, we thank you guys for listening. And episode 3 will be coming out next Friday, and I think we're signing off now.
Yep, I think that's about it from us.
And don't forget to stay strange.